Leap of Fate podcast fans. Welcome to this week's episode with yours truly, Randy Silver. As always, the Leap of Fate is about overcoming adversity, how you can deal with life challenges, the ups and downs struggles, and we here at Leap of Fate want you to understand the message of you can overcome whatever that may be. My guest this week, Kashmir Neumann, also by the name Kash, her nickname, embodies that. Hi, Kash. Welcome to the podcast. Embodies that. Kash was a normal, everyday person like you and I, 25-year-old. However, she had chronic migraines that kept coming, going, coming, and it debilitated her life. As a result, she got a head scan, brain scan, and realized that she needed to go into pretty much emergency brain surgery to take care of it before something in her brain burst and she could pass away. Very, very scary stuff. She went through that, had to recover from brain surgery, had to deal with the ups and downs, the mental warfare that goes with it, the adversity that went with it. And she didn't let it keep her down. She was able to stay in the right mindset with her life, be able to share the message. And through all the ups and downs, she's now, safe to say, good to go. And she is writing a book about her experience. The book, drum roll please, goes live in 2 days from this recording, Friday. Actually, when you guys are watching this, you're going to be able to buy the book. Please go check the bio right now so you can see the book as we talk about it. The book's title is Kashmir, her name. So we're going to talk about today what Kash had to go through with brain surgery, the recovery, what led up to the brain surgery, how she kept the right mindset for her life. We're going to talk about what it was like for her to write a book, to be a self-publisher, to be able to put it out there, and all that goes with it. Kash embodies the leap of fate with her message and what she's gone through. I'm so excited to have her on today. I met her almost a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when we first met, she told me all about this story. I told her I wanted her to come on the podcast. She said, "Hey, Randy, let's wait for the book. I want the book to come out and then let's do it together. So that way they can go hand in hand." And as I just said, I'm so happy to say the book is coming out right now if you're watching this or if you're listening to it. So we can go talk about the book and everything she went through. So with that being said, Leap of Faith fans, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Love y'all. Thank you so much for all the feedback on the past episodes about how to be a great podcast guest, which Kash is about to be, how to be a great public speaker, the dating episode, and much more. Please do like and subscribe. That's how I can grow the message Leap of Faith, get great guests like Kash at Leap of Faith Pod or at Randy Silver 09, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, on YouTube, Leap of Fate, on Apple and Spotify, Leap of Fate, other channels. Again, please do like, subscribe, comments, help me go with it. With that being said, let's bring Kash in. Kash, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you.
How was that intro for everybody?
That was good.
It was
I think
good.
you did a great job.
Great. So I don't want to give away too much. So I've tried to keep the intro very high level. I'd like for you to start. Where do you think is a great place for us to start in your story of Kash?
Well, the story it begins at a really good place, traveling the world, living a dream life. Brain surgery wasn't even a thing at the time. So yeah, I moved to Vietnam on a one-way ticket when I was 24 years old. Lived my life there, got a job teaching. I fell in love within the first month I was there.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Still with this guy actually, somehow.
What's his name?
Brad.
Brad, shout out.
Shout out to Brad. Yeah, so this is actually where the story begins because we're living this life. We're merging our life together. He's South African. I'm American, if you haven't noticed. And yeah, so I start to get all these migraines when we start dating. And there he
here's
is.
Brad. Again, go to YouTube. I have a picture of Kash and Brad on here together. So continue, please.
Yes. So I was having a lot of migraines, up to 4 a week, and I did not know what was going on. I was also getting like these weird visual disturbances. I didn't know what those were either. And that would come after running too much on the treadmill or anytime my heart rate was up. I'd get these weird visual spirals, like rainbow flashes, I'd call them.
Did you ever get migraines growing up?
I did, yeah, but maybe like once a month. It never was as frequent as 4 times a week.
Which is a lot. Like I've had migraines before. My little brother had chronic migraines. It
Ugh,
debilitates you. You can't do anything for hours upon hours.
yeah, you cannot. And living in a chaotic city of Hanoi, having a migraine, there's always construction going on. You can never just be comfortable. It was really bad. But I just kept chalking it up to the pollution. So I was
Mm.
wearing a mask when I'd ride my bike around. And that's before COVID. So it was not cool to wear a mask. um, yeah, my mom, she's like, "Oh, you're just dehydrated, you're dehydrated." And I'm like, I think something is really wrong. So after 6 months, me and Brad moved to the Philippines together and the migraines stopped. So I did think it was the pollution then at that point, and maybe the alcohol. Because I didn't drink much in the Philippines either. I'm not really sure.
So just
Anyway,
out
they
of
came,
but out of nowhere, just you were having 4 week and then they just stopped.
it went back to like
One a month.
1 every 2 weeks.
Got it.
It was a dream. It was amazing.
Which still isn't good, unfortunately, but I get what you're
I
saying.
know. Still really bad. Um, but I was getting those visual disturbances. So I actually went to an eye doctor in the Philippines. He checked all my eyes, everything was fine. So next thing you knew, we went to South Africa next for 6 weeks, where he's from, and the migraines are coming back more. I'm like, oh my God, I really need to get it checked. I need to see a doctor. Finally, after 9 months of traveling, I go home, I get a brain scan. They call me that day. They say, Kashmir,
Where's
you
home?
have, what's that?
Where's home? Sorry.
Oh, home. Home is Wisconsin.
Got it. So you flew from South Africa back to Wisconsin to get the brain scan.
Yes, it was a 50-hour flight. It was terrible.
It doesn't sound fun whatsoever.
No. Yeah, so we came home, hung out for like a week and a half, and then I had the doctor appointment. He's like, okay, we'll get you a brain scan. And then they called me that afternoon with the results. They had found an AVM on my occipital lobe, so back here on the vision lobe. And I'm assuming no one knows what
AVM is.
an AVM
So
is.
can you first off again, we just changed the photo here on the YouTube so you can see the scan that she had. So you can see it. And then can you share what an AVM is and why that's probably causing migraines for you?
Yes. So first of all, an AVM is super rare. Less than 1% of the population has them. And unfortunately, people die before they even know they have one. You find out in the autopsy that that's what caused your death because you rarely have symptoms from it.
Holy smokes.
So luckily I had symptoms. It's a cluster of blood vessels. You have your veins and your arteries, and your veins go to the heart and your arteries pump blood away from the heart. And you have them everywhere, obviously, but you have capillaries, small little tiny blood vessels, and that buffers the blood flow between your veins and your arteries. But in my case, I just had an artery and a vein just hitting head on, nothing between them. So there's high pressure. And the doctors were so surprised that it hadn't burst yet.
And you've
In my
had this
case,
since like birth, or like it's something that happened from a
yes.
brain injury, something like that?
No, I apparently did have it from birth, but I had another MRI when I was 16, and no one can find the records to that, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess I did have it from birth. It is congenital. So it just comes from, it's the same as an aneurysm. It just, you can be born with it.
So when the doctors saw this, they're like, okay, one, You're probably lucky to be alive at this point. It hasn't burst. And two, we need to get you into emergency surgery right away to take care of it.
Funny story. It wasn't an emergency surgery.
Okay.
Yeah. They scheduled it for a month in advance, actually about a month and a half. And because they wanted me a month on seizure medication before I had the procedure, because the procedure they were going to do was pretty extensive and they needed to put me in a coma afterwards just from the brain swelling. So for some reason they thought a month and a half was going to be fine. They actually said this: if it hasn't burst yet, it's not going to burst in the next month and a half.
And they
So
said, yeah, what's the confidence level of that's going to happen? Please tell
that
me.
was the scariest month and a half of my life.
Yeah, I can only imagine the stress, the anxiety that goes with that.
I was eating a lot of Valium. I'm prescribed that for anxiety attacks, and I had a panic attack every single day. Just, oh my God, am I dying right now? Is this it? Is this the end?
So what was it like for you and your family when you got this diagnosis? Was it relief to know that, hey, this is curable? Was it more, like you said, anxiety, stress to like, uh-oh, we have to go through surgery? What was the mindset you guys were going through?
Everyone was really surprised because they thought I was just being dramatic with all the headaches and the eye flashes, which the visual disturbances, they're actually seizures, which I learned after. It was because it's causing the pressure on your vision lobe. So I'm seeing the effects in my eyes.
Oh, but you weren't actually like going to the ground and like having convulsions?
No, they're visual seizures.
Wow, I didn't know there was a different type of seizure.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of different subtle seizures you can have too that aren't the grand seizures.
That's a good way to put it.
Thank God I didn't have any of those, because that's another fear. Okay, where were we? The family.
Yeah, so you're going to stay in Wisconsin with your family. They're going to take care of you, and hopefully, the next month and a half, we don't have a traumatic experience.
Yeah, things got pretty dark when we all found out. That's the first time I saw my dad cry. Brad was in the room because we had to go meet with neurosurgery at one of the hospitals here. We didn't get a second opinion. We kind of just went with them because they do have a good neuro team. And we felt it was urgent. We actually didn't even think about a second opinion. So we just said, yes, let's have the brain surgery. Brad, he's like, I'm 100% here for you. I'm staying for this. Everyone was really supportive. It was really scary. None of us knew. I was just 25 years old. So it was pretty fresh. Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 28 now.
So this was 3 years ago.
Yes.
Got it. So as a 25-year-old, normally you're living your life, traveling, having a good time, and you're about to go in the brain surgery. And we went the month and a half. We overcame the month and a half. Nothing terrible happened, it sounds like. So what was it like that morning, night of, leading up from the surgery? Relief, anxiety, stress, all that goes with it?
Oh, having anxiety just thinking about it. They told me that it was most likely I would lose my vision, half in each eye. So I'd be blind in each half. And they said possibly more, that they were a millimeter away from the speaking area. So they're like, there's a possibility you could wake up and not be able to speak. There's a possibility you could have seizures, you could die, obviously. There's a lot of possibilities. So that morning, we got up at 4 a.m., left the house at 4:30 to be there by 6:30. I drove my car myself because I didn't know if that was going to be the last time I was going to drive a car. And we get there, everyone's making jokes, we're in good spirits. I'm having a lot of anxiety. I'm taking a lot of my anxiety medication. Get to the hospital, I check myself in, just start crying. I'm having a full-blown panic attack. And the doctor was like, or the reception was like, is she okay? Is she okay? And my parents were like, oh, she's having brain surgery today. So we get back there. I get more anxiety medication. It's not really working that well. And then and then something really bad happens. I'm sitting in the chair and they're giving me antibiotics, but I'm starting to get hives everywhere
Holy
because I'm
smokes.
having a reaction. So I start going to one of the worst panic attacks I've ever had. My arms went completely numb. It was pins and needles. I couldn't even breathe. It was so scary. The doctors were like, after I had finally calmed down after 10 minutes, they said, do you want to do this today? You don't have to do this. And I was like, I do have to do this because I'm going to die if I don't do this. So we did it. And yeah, they gave me more anxiety medication after that.
How long was the surgery?
It was like 8 to 10 hours.
And you were in a coma the whole time, of course. So
So then after they sedated me for 4 days because my brain was swelling so much. So they put titanium in, which is skinnier than the bone. So your brain has room to breathe. So they did that.
And they say the surgery went well. They weren't able to hit the eye part, the brain part.
They got it all out. It was 19 millimeters, so the size of a golf ball, probably.
They let you keep as a souvenir? Kidding.
I don't know what they did with it.
So
Yeah.
beside the point, you were out in a coma for 4 days. And when you woke up, were you able to understand where you were? Did you have your vision? Did you have your speech? Or did it take you some time to get it back?
Okay, this is a whole story on its own, which I write about in the book. I woke up, I thought I was on a boat. Everything's wobbling. I'm full on hallucinating. I remember all of the hallucinations. I'm speaking. I think I'm seeing. My voice is hoarse. And I didn't have a voice for a whole month afterwards because the breathing tube, it actually possibly destroyed my vocal cords permanently, some of them.
Oh, wow.
I was barely speaking. Yeah. I was like cracks.
You sound very clear today. Like I wouldn't even guess.
I think it's better now. I cannot sing anymore, which I couldn't really before, but now I really can't sing. Okay, so for 4 days straight, I'm hallucinating. I didn't sleep. It's really crazy. I don't even know where to start with these hallucinations.
We'll keep that for the book. We'll let people read that in the book.
Okay.
So we'll keep that from the book. So you're in the hospital bed, hallucinating. Is your family allowed to be around you? Are you able to understand who they are? Speak, maybe not speak to them, but you can make movements and understand that they're there and you're there with them.
Yes, I know they're all there. I recognize all of them. I was mad at my dad immediately after because I thought he put me on a woman's boat. Instead of sending me off to brain surgery, I thought he put me on a woman's boat and my head burst on the boat and I wake up with that. Actually, I was hallucinating so hard and for so long that they stopped giving me pain medication. So then it gets really dark, my hallucinations, because I'm in so much pain and I'm hallucinating. Finally, I managed to sleep for about 2 hours and the hallucinations, they subside and things are finally clicking. I'm like, oh my God, that wasn't real. I was so relieved. But my vision, it's flashing. Like I'm seeing flashes of just images, colors, like, a TV screen when it's not showing like an actual TV show, but it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
But
I got
with
what you're
colors.
saying.
That's what I was seeing in this spot. it's like just big circle spot. Everywhere I looked was this like color thing. And that didn't go away for 6 weeks. Finally it did go away.
How long were you in the
But
hospital for?
I was in the hospital for 10 days.
So you had the hallucinations, you were able to sleep, they discharged you, but for the next 5 weeks, you were still having a lot of post-surgery issues that you were just probably like in the bed or in a couch. You weren't going anywhere, just having to understand the deal with the pain, the stuff
Oh
that
my
was coming
God,
with it.
yeah. The pain was so bad. Headaches, so like my head hurts so bad. There's pressure. I was having a lot of anxiety. If you haven't noticed, I suffer from anxiety. Um, they weren't letting me take any of my anxiety medication, any pain medication except for Tylenol, because they were just concerned about the hallucinations. So that first month was really rough, and I was on seizure meds because I was on like a seizure watch afterward. But yeah, I didn't do anything. I sat on my parents' couch. I couldn't even watch TV. Ozarks, we were
The
trying to
show.
watch Ozarks. It was like it was in Japanese or something. I didn't even know what I was looking at. So I was getting frustrated looking at the TV. I remember I would just put on music. I would sit and listen to music. I would just
Did,
sit there.
did you have friends come and visit you who were able, or people couldn't be around you because you had like open wounds and things like that?
No, people came. Yeah, I had a lot of people come hang out with me. I couldn't talk much. I couldn't even walk. I had a cane for the first week because my body was so traumatized from what happened. So I didn't have to relearn how to walk, but I did have to start over with that.
Got it. And then after how many months would you say you finally felt comfortable with, say, just going to the store or being able to go out and maybe go to a park and hang out with friends there?
I really tried to feel comfortable. I went to a Greta Van Fleet concert 6 weeks after brain
Yeah,
surgery.
if you guys don't know Greta Van Fleet, they're a pretty well-known rock band. They're pretty aggressive, so that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, and I went to Cuba 2 months after because Brad was on a tourist visa and you have to make visa runs every 90 days. So if you got to make a visa run, you have to leave the country. So we were trying to think somewhere warm with cheap flights. So we went to Cuba. I was not well. I was not okay. I had a lot of fun, but I'm still dealing with pain. There's my
Here's a
brother.
here's a good brother, you and your brother. So but like you can see here, like you're out having fun, and you're back living your life. And this is kind of where I would just want to tie the story off, and we can go into like you writing the book. So I want people to read the book and not let's share all the details here. So you can kind of just tell us about this picture again. Please go to the YouTube Leap of Fate and what's happening in this picture and why you guys are both wearing helmets here.
So the helmet comes later in the story. It is, I won't give anything away, but the story gets pretty dark at some points. So I have to wear a medical helmet. And my brother, we had an extra one. So we'd be just hanging out with the family, drinking. I was allowed to drink, so that was good.
White Claws,
Um,
baby.
yeah. We People would put it on. We had fun with it. We turned a really sad situation into something positive with a lot of lighthearted energy. And I think that's really what got me through my whole situation is the comic relief part of things.
And I love that. And that's how you can make your life feel so much better, is when you can laugh at yourself, or when you're able to take such a terrible experience, something you're going through, and make it better by just how your mindset is or how you're viewing life. And that's what you did. And that's what you're trying to help do as we kind of in a mission and take it to the second half of this podcast, is you being able to now share this story with people to help them understand how they can overcome what they're dealing with. And for you, I'm sure it's also very therapeutic to now share the story, write it all down, and be able to, again, try to change the world. So what got you the idea to wanting to write a book about what you went through? A lot of people probably maybe want to keep it private or don't want to talk about it, and you're being so open about it, which is courageous. So tell us about what made you want to do that.
First of all, thank you. Second of all, that's exactly why I did write it, is for just therapeutic, because it was mentally, not only physically, but mentally traumatizing going through all of that stuff at such a young age. And it was just something I had to do. I originally wrote the book on the hallucinations because they were so crazy and vivid. I had to just write them down. And that's
better
actually
than
where
any
it
drug you
started.
ever could take. Acid, Molly, shrooms. No, this is anything better
This
than
is
that.
nothing compares to this. It's seriously crazy. I could start a cartoon series on these hallucinations. Anyway, yeah, so I thought the story was over after the brain surgery. That's where it begins. There's a lot more that happened, and I couldn't mentally write the book until I finally healed, which was February 2020. I healed right at the start of COVID. And
Oh, what was considered for you healed? Like no more no more
my
pain.
head was finally closed.
Got it. Got it.
I had a lot of infections, and you'll read about that. So I just wanted a healed head. Finally, I get the healed head, and I'm still dealing with the trauma. There's more things that happened in the story, and it probably took about until June of 2020. So several months after, I moved out to San Diego with four of my best girlfriends, and that's where I was healed. Like, so just a second chance, just anything I've always wanted, it was there. And then I started to think, okay, I am going to write this book.
And we can share them again right here if you're looking at the YouTube, sharing
Yeah.
some of her best friends.
So my best friends,
Do you want to give them a
Jess
shout
and
out really
Lex.
quick?
Yes. Hey, Jess, Lexi, love you guys.
Jess, Lexi, shout out. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. Hope you're well.
Yeah, we had a great time in San Diego, and I kind of just enjoyed that summer to enjoy life again. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to write this book. So that's when the next winter came around. I moved to Guatemala, and I deleted all my social media, put a hold on everything, and I sat by this beautiful lake and I wrote the book, the rough draft.
Can I ask you a couple questions about that?
Go for it.
Did you go to Guatemala by yourself?
Yes.
And did family, friends have any reservations about you going down there by yourself or doing, finding yourself?
Like reservations as in concerns?
Yeah, about you going down to Guatemala by yourself.
No, it's so normal for me. They're like, oh, she's going again.
How long were you down there for?
Just a month.
And what was your favorite part about being down there?
I know this sounds cliche, but detaching from my phone, all the social media. I actually went on a boat party, lost my phone. So I had no contact to anyone except the people I met there. So I'm actually emailing people, hey, do you want to meet here at 5:00? Because I don't have any social media to get a hold of anyone on. And I loved it. I'd write my book, I'd go to the gym. It was just so amazing. And then, yeah, I felt like I was living such a cool life.
And how many hours a day were you writing the book for?
I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot. Anywhere from 3 to 6.
I mean, a lot of people talk about wanting to write a book and they don't even know where to start, how to do it. So, I mean, to me, it sounds like a lot. I don't know if I could sit down for 6 hours a day and just like write, journal, type, whatever that may be.
Yeah, it's a lot. The phone, the thing is, we're always grabbing this, like, okay, notifications, text. I didn't have any of that. So I couldn't like look for a distraction. My distraction would just like be look outside, and I just get back to writing. I was really into it. All my energy was into this book. There's nowhere else my energy could go, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. You had no vices around you that would take you away from what your goal was to write the book. And did you have any formal writing lessons? Anybody teach you how to write a book? Or is this something like, I'm just putting pen to paper and we'll see how it comes out?
Pretty much that. But I will say I've been writing my whole life. I've been writing stories since I could hold a pen. And I've been a writer in college. I've written a lot of things. I definitely would say I'm a writer in my free time.
Got it. And so you almost feel like, to me, that all that writing you did up to this point was practice for you to be able to write this book for yourself. And it was almost like your life's mission to be such a good writer in your personal life to now have the opportunity to write this book.
Honestly, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I've always wanted to write something, and the universe gave me that whole medical situation for me to share the story, and that's kind of how I feel. Also, I do want to say that I keep journals. I journal everything. So when I did write the book, I was referencing the journals, and the book is actually set up in journal entries instead of chapters.
Kind of like a Diary of Anne Frank, where it's like different pages, or excuse me, each entry is a different day, something. So like you had a journal, same type of concept.
It's just like that. Yeah.
Got it. So once you were able to do the month in Guatemala, you completed the first draft of it. What's the next step in the process for getting the book to a publisher, getting it in the hands of people who will be able to distribute it out for you?
So I went with the self-publishing route, which has been an interesting journey for sure.
Can you again, for someone like me, I'm sure a lot of people out there who are a lot of fans don't know, we understand self-publishing versus, say, corporate publishing, but what does that mean entail that you have to do that someone, if you chose a different route, would do for you?
Self-publishing requires you find your own editor, you find your own graphic designer, you take care of your ISBNs, you take care of where you're going to publish it, how you're going to publish it, what forms you're going to publish it on. This required a lot of YouTube videos. I have watched so many YouTube videos, and that is the only way I could have done this.
We talk about YouTube University on this podcast all the time. All the time. It's great.
YouTube University. Yeah. I've never heard that, but I love it.
Please, you can quote me for it. It's good. I took it from Alexia.
Okay, YouTube University.
So with all that, did you were able to find someone to publish your book, or edit your book at least? And when they edited it, what were some of the feedback they gave you as a first-time writer in terms of like writing something for publishing?
I got it edited from, I went through a lot. I had to filter through a lot of people. I used Upwork, which I love that site. Compared to Fiverr, not a fan of Fiverr.
Interesting.
Yeah. With it, I have experience with this now. Upwork is really good. You can post your job. Everyone applies for it, writes a cover letter. I got a really good editor. He gave me a good rate. His feedback was, he said, okay, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
That's great.
Editing. So I was like, okay, thank you. For content wise, he said it's definitely a cliffhanger. He didn't want to stop reading it because there's so much going on. For editing, just the regular grammar mistakes, use it like typing out numbers instead of like spelling out numbers versus typing them out, like silly things like that. I think, yeah, that's about it. About him.
So you were pretty happy then when you got it back. Like, okay, like he didn't say like I did a terrible job. He didn't say anything about it. It's just an easy fix that I can go with.
Yeah, we did milestones. So we did we split it up into 4 quarters. So he'd send the first half back. The first half needed the most work, I'd say, just in regards of switching things around. Because the story is not chronological. I kind of do jump around a bit just to engage the reader.
Got it.
More in the middle, it's more chronological in the middle, but the beginning is a little weird.
Well, I'm imagining in my head, I can't wait to read the book that the beginning just starts with one of your hallucinations and you're just like, what is this? And then you take us back and it's like, okay, now we're back in Southeast Asia.
Oh, I wish I did that. It's not that crazy.
Hey, who knows? It's not published yet. Maybe you can go back and redo it.
Yeah.
So now that the publisher went through it, the editor went through it, everything's good to go. What's the next step in the process for you to, as a self-publisher, to get it out there for people as PR, which obviously like on this podcast is a good way, PR, things like that.
This is where things get really stressful. That editing, all that is the easy part compared to what I had to go through next. So I highly recommend, if you're going to write a book, to start working on your design before. Don't save that for last, because I did save that for last, and that was nightmare number 1. I went through so many graphic designers, and I'm not even sure that I'm in love with my book cover right now, but I don't care. We're gonna use it. It's fine.
I guarantee you it's great. Is there any way we can get a sneak peek right here for the audience? Do you have the book next to you?
It's right down there. Can I go grab it?
Yeah, go grab it real quick.
Okay, yeah.
So y'all, if you're not watching YouTube, she's grabbing her book really quick. Just while she does that, I think you guys can see 3 big key themes here. One is she went through a traumatic experience and used the right mindset and the right visionary in her head to be able to deal with what she was going through. Brain surgery is not fun. 2, she's using her experience to be able to help other people understand their experiences and what they're going through. And 3, she's not letting it hold her back. She's still 6 weeks after went to Cuba, 4 weeks after, 5 weeks after went to a rock show concert, and she wasn't sulking. And that's the type of mindset that we hope you have on Leap of Faith, is whenever something is taking you down, whenever something doesn't feel right, whenever you're going through something really hard, having that right mindset, having the right vision for yourself, then know it'll be okay. And maybe it's hard now, but if you keep going, it will get better. We'll help you get better. Okay, Kash, we got you back. We'll do a quick drum roll. Let's see the book cover.
Okay, so it is a proof copy, so it does say not for resale, but the book is called my name, Kashmir, because it's my story. It's a skull with just some nature.
Oh, I see that now. I see the skull. So hold it for a second just so we can get a good view. Like I can see it. You got the eye on the left, you got the right, you got the nose, the jawline and everything. And then it's kind of like different colors. So again, I'm trying to describe it for people on the audio. It's like very different colors dripping down, almost like a hallucination to a degree too, but it's the outline of what a skull could be.
And the background is supposed to be symbolic for snow, because a lot of my recovery was in the winter, which caused a lot of depression. But then there's just some beautiful nature within the skull, which kind of symbolizes me, my outlook. I want to be somewhere beautiful, and that's what I did a lot of the traveling in the book, even after my brain surgery. And then the back is the helmet, because
I love that.
I got a lot of feedback from friends, and they said, Kashmir, you have to have the helmet on the book somehow. So threw it on the back, and yeah, that's the book.
That's perfect. I love that imagery, the symmetry, the metaphorism that goes into the cover. So I think that's great.
Thank you. Took a long time to do that.
So now with all that being said, we have the book ready to go. We have the publishing done. We have the editing done. When is the book going to be live for people to read?
The book is going to be live October 24th.
And today recording is October 22nd, y'all. So when you guys get to watch this, this will be Monday, October 25th, or if on audio, October 24th, means we can go buy the book, which is perfect timing.
Yes.
Almost like we meant to do this on purpose.
Oh.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
How would people be able to find the book to buy?
How will they be able to buy it?
Yes.
For now, Amazon. And just because I'm a new author, I'm still learning the other platforms and sites that I can put it on. I do have it in some local bookstores here in Wisconsin, but for online things, I'm still kind of learning, but we're just gonna start with Amazon for now.
Great. And again, she will give me the Amazon link. So in the YouTube, in the Apple, and the Spotify, if you're watching this clip on TikTok, Instagram, any bio, this link will be in there so you can go click it and buy it. I will be buying it as well. And you guys should definitely go check out the book because I think she showed you so much courage today. And it's something that you want to support her into. Also, like, it's a great story to listen to.
I think you will be very entertained by this book.
Is there any final last words or anything that we haven't brought up today that you want to make sure we talk about?
I don't think so. I do want to say thank you for all your kind words, though. Thank you.
Oh, I mean every word. I'm not just faking it, I promise. Like, you have a very central theme of a lot of people that have come on. Like, right now I'm thinking of one of our former guests, and you guys know very well from Leap of Faith, the Professor of Perseverance. And I think you're the professoress of perseverance. He was a normal person and was playing touch football, and he got tackled and he became paralyzed from the waist down. He lost power and like was in a wheelchair the rest of his life. Actually, not waist down, from like the neck down. And he didn't let that change who he was. He still stayed the same person, the same bubbly personality, and he's changing the world with his message of overcoming adversity. You were doing the same thing, and you were just living your life, and you were born with this unfortunate situation in the back of your head, and you had to go through brain surgery, and it didn't knock you down, or excuse me, it did knock you down, but it didn't knock you out. And you've been able to have the same spirit, the same mindset, the same beauty, and live your life still. And you're portraying to your friends, your family, people who don't know, the people who are going to read the book, they're going to be inspired by your story to overcome what they're going for. And that is what the message of Leap of Faith is. And if I can take anything away from today, is you embody the leap of faith and what we're trying to change here.
I love that. I love that a lot.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Kash, thank you so much for coming on today. Everyone, if my pleasure. If people want to reach out to you, find you, to be able, hopefully you have social media again. I know you do because we've been talking on it.
I do.
But if people want to reach out to you and learn more, talk to you, share messages, love, whatever it is, how can we find you? And it will be in the bio, of course, as well.
Yes. Keeping It Kash is my Instagram.
Keeping It Kash, Young Money, baby.
Kash.
And then this is Leap of Faith. Please do subscribe for us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever I forgot, at Leap of Faith Pod or at Randy Silver 09. Again, I'm Randy Silver. Thank you so much, y'all. Kash, we're going to do the sign off, so I would love for you to repeat after me. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Stay wealthy.
Stay wealthy.
And have a good week, fans.
And have a good week, fans.
Deuces.
Deuces.